European Patent Office. I didn't actually join the European Patent Office, but I've been writing about it since 2014 in an in-depth fashion. I wrote about it before as well. And recently we've just been experimenting with videos. I didn't do any videos before, and I'm just doing it in one take. This is about something that's been happening this afternoon, and I managed to connect two cameras at the same time, the built-in one, so I could just kind of switch between them the following fashion. So this is frontal, that's a sidal one. Okay, I don't really need both of them, but it's probably easier to show things in the screen, at least in the future, if I use the sidal view. Then we'll see how it works. In any case, this is the European Patent Office event that's taking place today. It's the role of patents in AI, artificial intelligence. I just call it AI because it's pretty meaningless and people should ridicule this buzzword. I should mention I've done machine learning before. I did my PhD partly on that. It's back around 2004, 2003. I've already written papers about it in 2003. It's nothing new, and it's been around since the 70s to some degree, and people were talking about things like chess playing engines in the past. So, you know, this isn't actually something that's very innovative, and the very fact that they do a whole event on it says a lot about the understanding or the lack of understanding of the topic in the European Patent Office. They just choose to mislead people by using things that sound more innovative than they actually are. And if you scroll down a bit, that starts today, my birthday. It carries on tomorrow. Digital conference. They basically mean a conference that's not really a conference. You just, it's a bunch of people talking online. And if they have a whole kind of nice image, as you can see here, and they talk about here computer implemented inventions. That's what they always like to call software patents, especially with the word invention, so it's a very misleading one. This is nothing new. It's the same buzzwords, it's the same nonsense. I've written an article about that just now. I didn't script this video. I'm not planning to script videos. I'm not planning to do it in more than one take. This is the only take I'll do of that. But I've done this about half an hour ago, and it talks about the fact that the sorts of people who are involved in this event. Let me just try to zoom out a bit. I could probably can make better use of the screen space. So what they're basically doing now is they're having a lineup of people that sound as though they're professionals, but most of them are basically lawyers and attorneys and things like that. And they're not actually software developers, and you can be pretty sure they're not, not actually developing software. And I actually do develop software, and a lot of what we do in TechRights is develop tools to do various things, including things like newspeaks and organizing information, finding information, and so on. So these people, I want to look through the list of them. I opened the 3 pages. This is the first page. This is the introduction to the event, and it sounds reasonable on the surface. If you look on it, this is the broadcast, and today it's from 3 o'clock Central European time, so it probably started a few hours ago. And Benjamin Henry on right now in IRC, which is I have a computer here in front of me, and I have 5 here. I keep track of IRC usually on this machine here, and Benjamin Henry from FFII is watching the event right now and reporting all kinds of disturbing things, because the people who attend this event at these times, let me just pan to the right page, are listed here in the let me just try to zoom out, or maybe zoom in somehow. There's a whole bunch of people from the EPO and various law firms. You can see CMS, that's one of the law firms. And none of them seems to be a developer. And those who claim to be what they call open source experts, and maybe free software, but they claim to be open source kind of experts, and nobody's ever heard of them. And these people are probably some attorneys that claim to be specializing in some kind of commercial appropriation of free software, and but they're not actually coders, and they don't have a stake in the outcome. Look at this: head of AI unit. Head. What is an AI unit anyway? It doesn't mean anything. Head of planning. You have here head of planning, and you have business operations. These are the panelists. So there will be a panel with a person who's head of AI unit, and things like chief digital officer. It's so vague. And this intellectual property, which is not really about patents, it's just kind of a propaganda term that puts together trade secrets and trademarks, copyrights, patents. It doesn't mean very much. Closing words. This one I like. This is from Nelly. I think that the way it's pronounced is Nelly Simon. She's apparently from Austria, and she used to work with Campinos. And what does she know about this subject? Is she code? Has she done any so-called artificial intelligence? I don't think so. And the opening words have been given by a guy called Antonio. And Antonio doesn't even have a background in science. He's just a politician. And he's, welcome to an AI-driven world. What does it mean? Computer-driven world? Or, occasionally I try to look, maybe I'm kind of over criticizing things, and maybe I overlook something, but I work in software, and I've done all sorts of things like game engines even when I was a teenager, and I know what it involves. And what they mean by AI, usually it's some kind of a program that has a conditional statement in it, so it makes a decision. So it can be an if-else statement. It doesn't even have to involve any loops. And in some cases, it's driven by data, so it will optimize a network of decisions based on the data. It will decide by brute force. The computer will brute force itself into getting classifiers optimized towards classifying things and making decisions based on the classifications. They have training data. They have training set. They have a target set of data. Sometimes it's images. In my case, usually it was images when I worked, but they do these things. And now they use it as an excuse to basically say that software patents are necessary because we have this kind of a revolution. Most of it involves applications in the area of surveillance, and when you're even talking about cars, it's computers inside the car spying on people and making decisions like where to steer the driver and where to go. So looking at this event, it's a horrible embarrassment. It's a whole bunch of what's called kakistocracy, because these people are probably least qualified to comment on that. They didn't invite a single programmer or a person who knows what AI is, because they will just dismantle the whole concept. If you ask geeks what is artificial intelligence, most of them will react in the same way as if you ask them what is cloud computing, because it's just basically a buzzword, and only people like Antonio Campinos would use this garbage terminology to explain what he's up to. We'll try to see some of the keynotes later, or even just the minor talks. If they don't publish it, I think we have copies of our own, and we'll try to do a rebuttal to this, because this is just horrible stuff, and I don't think that the EPO should get away with it, because it's misrepresenting and actually harming European developers.